What's going on, Boss Talk family? Boss Coaching going on here, and we are at number 3 of our top 10 success hacks. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hope you got the first 7 out of the way, and hope it made an impact on you. Now we're going to get into number 3, and this one's interesting. Success hack. Like the top 3, we about to go all the way in on these. Number 3 is discipline. A lot of you don't have it. What I found is one of the reasons people lack discipline is because inherently there's a negative connotation to the word discipline. In fact, by one of the definitions, to punish or penalize for the sake of enforcing obedience and perfecting moral character. That's the primary definition. It also says a branch of knowledge, typically one studied in higher education. That's a type of discipline. And then there's, of course, training someone to obey rules or use a code of behavior. But the one that I like is to train or develop by instruction and exercise, especially in self-control. Especially in self-control. Now, notice the 2 key parts there. Train or develop by instruction. We talked just a minute ago in number 4 about learning. And so you have to learn certain disciplines. And as we explained there, then there's the exercise of doing those things, and you have to be willing to do them to the point that it becomes second nature. That's what real discipline is. Now, I want to put my own spin on the whole definition of discipline because I have a slightly different meaning to that. One that can be taken negative if you're not in the right frame of mind, because mindset is everything when we're talking about success, right? So here's the one I want you to consider. Discipline is doing what has to be done over what you want to do. Let's think about that for a second. Discipline is doing what has to be done over what you want to do. Think about some of the most successful people in any particular industry. I think for this purpose, I'll probably use the sports analogy. In fact, we'll use my favorite player of all time, the late, great Kobe Bryant. If you were not a fan of Kobe Bryant, even since his untimely demise, what you've learned is that he had an impeccable work ethic. But his work ethic was part of his discipline. His discipline was no one will outwork me. If he knew he had an opponent that had a great work ethic and showed up at the gym early and stayed at the gym late, he showed up even earlier and stayed even later. You see what I mean? That's that next level of doing what has to be done to achieve the desired results. So ask yourself, what are some areas in your life right now where you can become more disciplined? For a lot of people, the easy one is finances. Most people can afford to become more financially disciplined. But what about in your business outside of finances? What are some areas where you can just get better by training and constant exercise, commitment to that thing? Such as like one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate to go to a business and they're not open at their posted hours. And I'm not talking about you're scheduled to open up at 10 and I got there at 10:02 and you're not open yet and you open at 10:05 and that's a one-off. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you're scheduled to open up at 10 and I pull in at 11 and no one has ever been there for the day or whatever. That is an undisciplined business owner. And if they have staff, that staff pretty much is following suit or whatever. And you don't want to do business with them because it's evident if you can't do something as simple as operate within the hours that you said you would operate, then how could I possibly feel that you would give me the best product or the best service on the opposite end of that, right? So as we go into this new year, we have roughly 45, 50 days left in this thing, maybe a little over 50, not quite 60. But I want you to decide on some areas that you're going to be more disciplined in. You may already be doing it and you may be doing a good job, but we want you to be better, right? So identify those areas and then ask yourself, okay, what would it take for me to be better in these particular areas? And then write that down and see how you can be more disciplined about doing that, whether it's spending more time doing it, learning more about it, whatever it may be. This is the time that you set the sails. You always hear me say this. You set the sail when the water is still, because once the wind starts blowing, metaphor for the momentum, if you catch some momentum, you don't have time to make these type of adjustments. It's time to roll. So when you're still, which most of you don't have a whole lot of still time left if you have any type of Black Friday deals or anything going on in the holiday season, you're either in an industry that's going to be slow and you're taking that time down, or you're in an industry that's really busy and you're going to make the bulk of your money during this season. Either which way, you have this much of a gap between now and Thanksgiving to really identify those things, put a plan in place, and hit the ground running, so you won't be one of those ones saying, oh, this is going to be my year, new me, or whatever, and never end up getting anything done. So number 3 is discipline. We will see you guys for the top 2 success hacks of all time.